Podketeers.
I saw Toy Story 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Opening weekend.
it was surprising. My wife and kids surprised me with it.
Aw.
The
Thankfully
show
I
from
had
CW?
Yes. Yes, how did you know? We saw the entire series in
The
one
whole
sitting.
series of my wife and
Um I had enough energy to actually head out, go to the theater, and
Yeah.
watch it. It was great. I was very tired after though. It So everything we know so far about the film, I will validate and say that Andrew, your speculation about Bullseye, almost 100% dead on. Not to try to give anything
Sure,
away,
but
but
I'm not surprised. Like, it seemed to be the most obvious answer.
you pretty much nailed how they executed that scene, and let me tell you, it does not disappoint.
That's great. I'm
Nice.
excited.
It was so well executed. The entire film, obviously, we already knew that the entire premise of this film was that Bonnie gets a lily pad, which is kind of like an iPad or some kind of like leapfrog type toy.
Right.
And the entire messaging behind the story is that electronics are trying to take over, playtime versus the toys. I will start by saying that I enjoyed this film 10 times more than Toy Story 4.
Wow.
That's something I kind of see.
Yeah,
Like comment.
yeah, Toy Story 4, when we first found out about Toy Story 5, we made many comments, and we heard a lot of people say that Toy Story 3 was kind of the perfect ending to the trilogy, right? That it was a perfect ending to
It made us
the
cry.
series, and then Andy went off, and that maybe they could have spun it off another way. But the idea of Woody kind of going off on his own and kind of being this rogue toy and everything, like, okay, it had a decent story to it, but it felt disconnected from what the franchise always was. Like, it wasn't as much about the playtime, and who knows, maybe it's because they ran out of those ideas. Like, maybe they were trying to figure out a new way to get the playtime with the toys, right?
Right.
It felt very disconnected from the first three, and whether that was on purpose, I don't know. This one felt like it was part of the first three. Like, this one would have been a much better part 4 than part 4 was. Part 4 feels like it was a side quest instead of part of the lineage of what Toy Story has always been. And so the way that the story was told, again, I will validate Taylor Swift was not in the film. It's just a song that appears in the film. The way that the story was told and the points in the story that they filled in, or that the story that they told fill in a lot of gaps from the original trilogy.
Okay.
And so you learn a lot more about the origin of the toys. You learn a lot more about how they've all evolved as toys, not just personality wise, but in some ways technologically, of course. And of course, this sparked a whole lot of conversation amongst a lot of parents about, you know, scolding their kids after saying, like, hey, see, the movie's telling you, like, don't use your technology, it's gonna blah blah blah, it's gonna this and that. To which I will argue, I think this was more a message for the parents than anything. It wasn't for the kids about not using technology. It was more, to me, it felt more like a, hey, be cautious. Like, giving your kids technology is cool, but be cautious about what they're doing on that technology and monitor that technology. That's like, as a parent who's had to do that in the last, like, decade, that to me was more the primary message of this film. That was all kind of wrapped up in the story of the toys. So, as far as execution, as far as story, as far as like just being memorable, I can tell you that there was a few parts in there where I was choked up because of what was happening on screen at the
Oh.
end of the film. I was like, I was ready to just like start bawling from, like how well it ended. Like I felt this one, that same feeling that you felt at the end of Toy Story 3, I got at the
Mhm.
end of this one. Like I
Okay.
thought that's how well it got wrapped up. It was like that happy sad, like oh, like that nostalgic, like oh my god, like you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
so I'm looking forward to when both of you have an opportunity to watch it because I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Um, but I am giving this. Am I able to give it 3 thumbs up? How do I give it 3 thumbs up? 4 thumbs
Whatever
up?
you want. This is your
I'm gonna
your
give it out of
review.
5 little green aliens. I am giving this film 7.5 little green
Okay.
aliens. So that's how good I thought this film was. Um, when we first spoke about it, it had just opened up, so there wasn't a lot of information in the box office. Andrew, do you know by any chance what the box office looks like a week
Sure
into this
do.
film?
I was just also doing some review aggregating, but currently Toy Story 5 basically nearly a week, basically a week into its release, has made $397 million worldwide. 227 million of that is domestic here in the United States. That's nearly 60%. Its opening weekend. Let's see. The opening weekend was
It's okay.
$159 million for the opening weekend.
Do you know by any chance if it's on par with the other openings,
So
or
I know
how?
this was the biggest opening. Was it the biggest opening or I think it's the biggest opening this year. And looks like it's going to be probably going to be another big weekend. I think it's going to be number one. It says shattering franchise opening record is what this says. So yeah, it's the highest opening. Toy Story 4 had 120 million opening weekend. This had 160 opening weekend.
Okay.
Incredibles 2. It's second behind Incredibles 2 for animated opening weekend. With Incredibles 2 at 182.7 million.
Oh wow.
Opening weekend. So it's doing fairly well for the fifth movie in a franchise. But yeah, so it's probably going to be over $1 billion. I think it's going to be one of those big boys. It's going to be a big movie.
I was gonna say the fact that it's made. I mean, I'm not a like fully surprised because Pixar does pretty well, with their films. Or
Especially
Disney
the
does pretty well,
sequels.
especially the sequels. Yeah. Um, but the biggest difference right now is that we are in a very different economy than when the other films came out, right? So the fact that it has that opening weekend, and especially if it can cross the $1 billion mark,
Yeah.
I think that's going to say tons about this film in general. But yeah, this is one of those films where after watching it, I wanted to watch it again. Like I
Aw.
can't wait until this is available for me to purchase so that I can go back and watch it again.
Yeah.
Because it did feel very true to the franchise. It didn't feel like a departure the way that 4 felt. Um, and just overall, the messaging, I think, has sparked a good amount of conversation that honestly, I think just has to be addressed in general with people, right? Like some people hear that conversation happening about whether or not you give kids technology, and in the end, that's up to each each parent's decision.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
sometimes parents don't have a choice. Like sometimes because of work schedules or because of school or whatever the case is, sometimes that is the only way that you can, entertain a child. And
Right.
so I see things very differently than I think most people do. I think that technology can be a very good tool. I've done my best to try to monitor my kids. That's just a personal choice that I've made. I know that there are parents that just let them go and kind of learn on their own, and there are some parents that don't have the ability to do that but want to. And I can empathize with that feeling, because I know that I've been in situations where I wish I could have done more, or I wish I could do more to kind of monitor, right? So
Right.
I am not of the type of person that's gonna say like you should not give your kids technology, primarily because I love technology. So if I don't buy it for them, I'm gonna buy it for me, and then they're gonna get it from me anyway. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the boat that I fall into.
So I just did real quick a look at all the Rotten Tomatoes data. So this is, take that with a grain of salt, of each of the Toy Story films, and averaged it out between the reviews from the people and the reviews from the I don't know, movie reviewers, whatever you want to call them, the critics. So Toy Story 1 has an average of 96% out of 100. Toy Story 2 has a 93.5, which is crazy to me. I think Toy Story 2 it might be the best Toy Story movie of all of them.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
Toy Story 3 has a 94. Toy Story 4 has the second highest with 95.5, and Toy Story 5 also has 94. Now, Toy Story 4 and 5 have 200,000 less reviews on the audience side than 2, 3, and 4, or 1, 2, and 3. They have 1, 2, and 3 have over 250,000 ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, and then 4 and 5 have 4 has over 50,000, and 5 has over 5,000. So as these reviews come in, this might change and stuff, but I think it is crazy that Toy Story the original has 100% with critics and a 92 with the audience. Toy Story 2 has 100% with critics and then 87% with the audience. And then Toy Story 3 goes 98 with the critics, 90. Toy Story 4, 97 with the critics and 94 with the audience. Then Toy Story 5, 93.
4 has that high of a score?
4 is the second highest rated one average.
No.
It goes
no.
1, 4,
No.
3.
The
and
fact
then-
that it's higher than 3 is crazy.
Bruh.
It goes 1, 4, and then 3 and 5 are tied, and then 2 is last.
No, you
Averaged
want to
out.
know? Listen.
Give me your rankings. What are your Toy Story
Here's my
rankings?
ranking, okay? 2,
Yep.
1,
Uh-huh.
5, 3, 4.
I mean, I don't... 5, if
Oh.
you just take 5 out of there, that's my ranking, because I haven't seen 5 yet, so I don't know. But mine is 2, 1, 3, 4.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I put 5
In third place. Above
in third
3
place.
and 4.
Yeah. But, what film were we talking about where we were looking at scores and somebody was like, I'm giving it a 1 score because somebody threw their popcorn at me or something
I don't
like that?
remember, but that's kind of like the weird things that you get with these audience ones. It's like, yeah, well, the ticket was kind of expensive, so I'm mad about it, so I wrote like 1 star.
That's
The
what I'm
projector
going
messed
to...
up in the studio in my showing, so I give it a 1. I'm like, that's not the movie's fault.
I'm gonna say that most of that is the reason that some of those are lower than they should be, or higher.
So, but
Like,
if you
I got this ticket for free.
if you go by critics alone, it goes in order. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Interesting.
100, 100, 98, 97, 93.
I mean, they're wrong, but okay.
And the Toy Story 5 reviews there may be more that come out that can boost it up, I guess. because they have 283 reviews right now from critics. Toy Story 4 has 459, but then like Toy Story 3 has 312. Toy Story 2 has 175, and Toy Story has 162. So it's about they have more than those. But anyway.
It'll definitely change. I would like to revisit this in a few weeks and see where we are, maybe like a month from now.
Sure.
And kind of see where we are.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you have an opportunity to watch it, whether now or Disney Plus or whatever the case is, watch it. It's good. I like it a lot, actually. I enjoyed it much more than the last one, so I'm on board. Let's see. Since we're on the Toy Story kick right now, I have a few videos that I want to show you.
Okay.
And then after that, we'll take a short break, and then we'll talk about the big thing that you guys got a chance to do this week. Let me tease that a little bit, and then we'll talk about a major change on an attraction that everybody loved. So we'll talk about that in a moment. But let me bring up this video. This is an account called paper__pepper, and you're familiar with paper dolls, right?
Yeah.
Like they're like little doll. There's little cutouts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, usually with a paper doll, you cut out pieces and you add to the doll in order to make it look however you want, right? Whether it's clothes, hats, whatever you're doing. This account does things a little backwards. And I saw this and thought it was so cool. I wanted to share this with everybody. Check this out. So it's a paper Woody with like paper long hair.
Yep.
And they're using scissors to like cut Woody's hair. They have like all these little pop-ups and like all this like foam.
He had a mustache, and then
he had a mustache.
Oh, that's right.
With a paper razor.
It's
putting
like
his
they're
dirty clothes in the laundry.
That's cool.
Isn't it so cool?
Cleaning off
basically cleaning off Woody, like we saw in the film where they were like cleaning him off and like repainting him and everything, stitching him up.
Can we call this paper animation?
Oh no, because bald Woody.
Bald Woody. Boom. Look at this.
Forky's gonna fill in his bald spot.
Ouch.
This is like, there we go. This is almost like that dog pampering video we were looking at earlier, Heyzen.
Yeah.
Spa day.
Except this is way better.
But this is,
Look at
get his hat.
I mean,
wow.
The preparation for this.
Yeah.
Like even, did you see that the eyes moved when they put the hat back on? Like Woody's eyes looked up at the hat and then looked down?
That's a good question.
But did you? Okay, so that was the other thing. They put Bonnie's name inside, kind of like a Build-A-Bear, where you put like the little heart with a message.
Oh, his kerchief and his vest is out of the washer.
Tell me this isn't one of the most creative things you've seen recently.
I love it.
That's crazy.
Wow.
All clean, Woody.
This is so good. I was so impressed by this video. As soon as I saw it, I pasted it into our chat, like into our text chain, and I was about to sound like, oh no, I need them to see this on the podcast. And so I had to hold it back. But it was kind of killing me because I loved the video so much. I watched it maybe like 10 times because there's so much nuance to everything that's happening. I'm telling you, as I'll call it a spa treatment, I guess, but like the nuances with like Woody's eyes moving up and down, looking at the things that are happening, kind of like the way that his face moves during the shaving portion. So well done. I absolutely love this video. So paper__, it might be 3 underscores. I can't tell. But it might be 2. You'll see it on screen as I'm sharing it right now. But check out their account. They're over on TikTok. They have tons of these types of videos on there. The other video that I wanted to show you was this. So the one that I'm about to show you is kind of already close to completion because the creator, I believe we may have already seen something by this creator in the past. They go by Lara Cakes Official. They, let me share it so you can actually see it, but they made a giant Buzz Lightyear cake.
Oh.
And so there's multiple videos where they're actually
Whoa.
getting to the stage that we're at now that we're seeing on
It's
screen.
like, right now, it just looks like stacks of cake with a
Yes.
a plastic Buzz Lightyear
Pancakes.
head.
But yes, it is
Yeah,
cakes.
in the shape of a giant Buzz Lightyear, right? And so let me play this and then I'll tell you a little bit more.
Myself the task to make a Buzz Lightyear
There-
cake, and not just that, I
They're
wanted to
putting
make all of the
frosting-
buttons work. So I wanted his sound effects to work, and I wanted his wings to be able to
Chocolate
retract in
frosting,
and
and
out.
then we got
Now,
some
whether or not it can be,
fondant.
That remains to be seen. So
Fondant.
I stacked up the cake. It is a vanilla cake.
Oh,
and
that
put in
looks
some
so
cookies and cream
pretty.
buttercream.
All over the
And
yard,
that's
there's some
satisfying.
green
and I'm sure to
fondant.
make it nice and smooth before going in with modeling chocolate to add in all of his
Oh,
amazing
modeling
detail.
chocolate, not
Now, I did say
I
one of
love
those things to move. There
it.
are some
It's like-
electronics wired into the cake, so you're going to have to stick to the end of the video
Little
and
purple
see if I got it
buttons.
to work.
But
Then it
they
was time
fit
to
so
add on all of his
perfectly. I
final
love it.
They
finishing
do.
colourful touches
Ah.
like these buttons and all of his stickers, which I used an edible printer with edible ink so that
You
could
could
even
eat that
these.
printer?
And the last thing I had to add on was Bunny's little shelf star and a little bit of isomalt onto his wings. And here he is, the finished Buzz
Boom.
Lightyear cake, standing
Wow.
at around 5 foot and 3 inches tall. Now,
Okay,
don't
so,
forget, I did say I wanted to get those wings to retract.
okay, that's what I wanted to show you.
Stop.
And somehow
The wings
he
flip
managed
out.
to do that.
There
The
you go.
wings flip
So
out.
here he is in all of his glory. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you like it, and I hope you enjoy.
I wanted to try to pause it before I showed you that part because there's another video where she talks about it because it's not just the wings. Here,
Got
let
the
me share this
flashing
one.
lights.
I don't know if people have been following along watching me making this Buzz Lightyear cake, but let me show you what it can do. Just wait there. Okay, ready?
Way.
Listen.
Buzz Lightyear to start command. Come in, start command.
Nice.
Wait.
I am Buzz Lightyear. I come in peace.
And then this one.
The zapper.
There. And then just one more thing,
And then, of course, when you hit the big red button, the wings
The
pop up.
lights and everything. Wow.
Yeah.
But what about karate
Yeah.
chop action?
No karate chop action. That's for the next cake.
Okay. That's my favorite part in when he's like karate
And
chop.
when he grabs them,
Buzz,
and he's
Buzz,
like,
Buzz, Buzz, Lightyear to the rescue.
I was, oh my gosh. So I was counting like all the layers of the cakes. I stopped at 15. There's more than that. Like there had to be
Oh yeah,
20,
I mean it's
25.
5 feet tall.
Yeah.
Here, I'll quickly go back. We'll quickly look
Okay,
at
here
it.
we go.
I'm not gonna count this, but
1,
you're
2,
welcome
3,
to count
4,
it.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 21, 22. Close to 30, maybe 28 to 30.
That's crazy.
It's hard to tell because there's some of them that are like there's lots of thick frosting, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it's a lot
This
of
is-
cake.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
wait, I
so
didn't
cool.
count the shoes. There's a
Oh,
couple
the
more.
shoes are at
so it's
least
over
3
30.
layers. Yeah.
I started at the ankle.
This is a lot of cake scrap. If you've ever made a cake, you know that there's some cake scrap left. And I grew up, my dad was a baker by trade. And so whenever he would make cakes like this, we would get to eat the scraps that they cut off when they're trying to level off the cake and everything. So
What
it
characters?
just reminds me of that.
What 5 foot tall characters did your dad make?
He didn't make 5 foot tall characters.
okay.
He did make a lot of other designs. He would make like dolls for like quinceañera cakes with the giant dresses and stuff like that. And so I remember very early on, I've only made 4 cakes my entire life, like full blown cakes, and 3 of them were very boring. But the
Funfetti.
most elaborate cake that I ever made was for my oldest son's first birthday. I made like a full Buzz Lightyear. Oh no, that was the second one. So that it wasn't that boring. The first one that I made was the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Oh, nice.
And so like
Aw.
I modeled it all out, and it was like the full clubhouse with like the little characters and everything. So I guess I've made 2 non-boring cakes and 2 boring cakes. But yeah, those were fun. This is just so much talent. I wish I had this type of skill. I get to kind of do this with 3D printing, but the fact that they're actually
Yeah.
sculpting this out of cake is so much harder, because in most cases I can just use a model. They have to
Right.
model it.
You should show this video to your dad and say you want this for your birthday.
Do you want to? Yeah. Do you want to make this for you?
No. Your dad needs to make it for you.
Oh,
He should make this cake for you for your birthday, since he's the
That would be
baker.
fun. That would be fun. I like it. Let's see. What else do we have? Actually, I'll tell you what. Let's now take a break. Let's take a brief moment to thank a very special group of listeners and viewers known as the FGP Squad, our podcast Fairy Godparents, because it's their support via Patreon that help make these episodes of Podketeers possible. For more information on how you can become part of the FGP Squad family, we invite you to go to podketeers.com/FGP. On that page, you'll find some information about what the FGP Squad is all about, a link, of course, to our Patreon, a list of some of our top contributors. But in short, being a part of the FGP Squad family gets you some additional perks, like access to additional content that we've uploaded to Patreon, a special section of our Discord, access to discount codes for new Podketeers gear. You get random giveaways. I was just talking about 3D printing. I like to build a bunch of stuff. Then once it's done, I like to give it away in many cases. And the FGP Squad is usually first in line for a lot of that stuff. So if you're interested, again, podketeers.com/FGP is where you want to go. And of course, to all of the members of the FGP Squad, we just want to send a huge thank you for your continued support. Of course, since we're talking about links, now is probably the best time to remind you that podketeers.com/links is a link you may want to have handy. How? We'll discuss that in a moment, but podketeers.com/links is your one-stop shop for our latest episode, the Quizneyland playlist, a link to our Discord community. Of course, you'll find the FGP Squad link there. Any fundraisers that we're running with our official charity team, Teamboat Willie. You'll also find a link to our YouTube channel. We are in the process of trying to reach 1,000 subscriptions before the end of 2026. We are just over the halfway mark. We're approaching 700 at this point. And if you have any additional Google accounts that you can sign up with, if you're already subscribed, that would be great. If you're not already subscribed, it would totally help us out, and we would appreciate it if you take a moment to go sub to our channel. Maybe hit that little bell icon for notifications when we post new stuff. You'll get an alert at least for every episode, so at least one weekly alert. I can guarantee you that one. But yeah, we're trying to reach 1,000 subs by the end of 2026, so if you can help us out, that'd be great. And on the links page, you'll also find a link to our Armchair Imagineering playlist, which is us just kind of going crazy, trying to reimagine the parks in ways that everybody loves all of the time, just like what we're about to talk about, one of the changes in a moment that happened at Disneyland. So yes, podketeers.com/links. Post-it note, tattoo on your forehead so you can see it in a mirror. We've talked about these in previous episodes. There's all sorts of creative ways. Again, if you want a QR code, let me know. I'll send you a QR code for it. But yeah, podketeers.com/links. Let's get back to the show. All right. And now, we get to the story. Story.
Oh, you
That
want me to
we've
tell?
all been waiting
We've all
for.
been waiting for?
At least I've been excited to share. It's not even my story, and I'm like so excited to share this. So,
Sure.
I don't know who wants to start, because you both had an opportunity to attend a very, very special thing this week. I was like when you showed me and you told me where you were going, I literally was like Homer, like.
Heyzen didn't even know until it happened.
I know.
Right.
And I was like so freaking psyched for you guys. I was like, okay. Anyway, I don't know which one of you wants to start.
I
Take
guess
it
I'll
away.
go.
Andrew, you
So,
do it because
yeah.
my brain is still recovering.
That's okay. So to the day we were recording this is Friday. This happened on Thursday.
It's 626 day, by the way. It is
626
Stitch
day
Day
recording.
when we're recording this.
So the event happened on Thursday. I found out about this on Tuesday around 2:00 in the afternoon. I get a message through my. If you don't know, I have a separate Instagram account that's me when I dressed up as Sala for a couple of D23s, and I just post the pictures on it. Sala, it's called Sala of Disneyland. That's I don't know if I've ever said that on here before, but if you want to go see a bunch of old pictures, they're on there.
Hey, they're fun.
But they're fun.
Very
I have a fun
wholesome.
time pretending to be Sala. It's a fun time in there.
And
But
you're very good at it too, by the way.
I try. Thank you. But I got a message in there. I was at work. I was sitting like having my lunch, and I get this message. And it was like, "Hey, I want to invite you. Are you available Thursday? I'm having a meetup with some like Indiana Jones like people, like friends and fans of Indiana Jones, for a special guest at Disneyland, and we're gonna have a meetup and then go ride the attraction." I was like, "Oh darn, I'm sorry. Like I have this week at tomorrow. As we're recording this, I'm officiating a wedding, and today there was a rehearsal dinner and everything." And I was like, "I just don't think I can make it. It's so last minute. I live in Sacramento. It's far." I'm like, but I think this would be a good opportunity, for Melissa, as my friend Melissa is a co-host, and it's like, she's a big indie fan. Can she go in my stead? And he's like, sure. So I get her information. He's like, and by the way, because I was able to go, he's like, don't tell anybody, but by the way, so there's going to be 2 special guests. One's Chuck Ballew, I believe, if I'm saying his name correctly, Imagineer, and then John Rhys-Davies is going to be there to sign autographs and things. And I go, that's crazy. And I was like, man, I'm so bummed I can't go. Like, but Melissa's gonna get to go. Melissa didn't know who it was at the time because he was keeping it hush-hush. I did not know. I think I was the only one who knew, possibly because he thought I wasn't gonna go, so he told me. Because we got added to a group chat later, and it was all hush hush, until a certain. I'm sure other people knew, but I was just like, the rest of the day I'm there like, man, I really wish I could go. Man, I really wish I could go. And I was talking to my coworkers. They're like, you should go. Like, you could figure it out, right? You can go. It's like, yeah, I have the rehearsal dinner, like I just don't want to like screw that up. And then I get home and I talk to my wife, and she's like, basically like, you should go. And so I look to see if I have a reservation.
By the way, Tina, you're awesome. I just gotta say that.
I look to see if I have a reservation available, like if there's one available for that Thursday. That was going to be my first sign. It's like, if it's available, then I'll try and go. So I get home, I look at a reservation, it's available. So I make the reservation, then I go, I guess I'm going. So I message back, and I go, I'm going to make it work. I'm going to be there. And so he gives me all the details, and I book my hotel. And the next day, I leave about 5:30 p.m., drive down to Disneyland, or drive down to Anaheim, get in a hotel, and go ahead.
Do you want me to share what's happened between that?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
If you remember,
so let's
you go ahead.
Let me fill that in, and then we could go back to that.
Sure.
So, okay. So, as I was approached, I was like, "Whoa, is this happening?" Well, you know what? I think I was grateful, and I'm like, if I do this, and I'm asking, I'm getting the information at the same time. Andrew is texting me saying, with a voice that I can read, that sounds urgent. And I'm like, okay, this is urgent.
I was like, check your DMs now.
Right. And so as I'm talking to the guy, I'm talking to Los Delta Outpost. We're talking to him, and he's being very kind and just not giving me too much. So I was like, okay. Up until the last point, I was just told there's going to be a meet and greet.
Special guest.
And a special guest of an actor who's on the attraction. I'm like, there's only 2 people. What is happening? So of course, that was Tuesday, and I'm like, kind of like, I've already said yes. I have to figure this out. I don't have a pass, and I was like, oh gosh. At one point, I asked, I go, am I gonna need a Disneyland ticket? I didn't know that there was gonna be a ride. I didn't know. And when that happened, and I was told yes, I'm like, okay, do I pay for the ticket, which was the lowest base, for the day, whatever. Let me figure this out. Let me go. I looked up different conventions, and I'm like, how much is it? Do they spend for this? Or what is this gonna justify? I don't know. My brain was just going all over the place. So for the record, I didn't eat really well for 2 days because I didn't know. I didn't know who was gonna be there. I say, forget it. I'm gonna get my tickets. I'm gonna explain. I have to explain it, Jerry. I'm like, this is what's happening. I got invited. I never have gotten invited to anything indie. So this kind of feels like it's Club 33. Like, I kind of feel that off of everything. And I'm like, I have to go. And I got support. He said, you know what, go ahead and go. So he knows I love him
So
more
shout
than
out
anything
Jerry,
because-
just like
Yeah.
shout out to
Jerry, too.
Tina.
Our spouses put up
Right.
with our whims and our
They understand us
Yeah.
very well. And so I'm like, okay, let me just try to find my clothes, whatever. Just trying to be like level-headed because one, I can't tell anyone.
Right.
And how many of us in Andrew and I's circle, like how many
Right.
of them are big indie fans?
Right,
So
exactly.
it was like, oh my gosh, I can't tell anyone.
And just so everybody knows, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not a big indie fan, but obviously we discuss a lot of the opportunities that we get
Sure.
or things that we're going to potentially talk about on the podcast. I didn't even know. Like
No.
they were both very secretive. Like
All you
they
knew was I was like, Heyzen, Melissa and I are unavailable
Yes.
on
Right,
Thursday
like-
to record. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
we're
We'll
doing
tell you
something.
later.
We'll tell you later. And I was like, I was trying to guess. I was trying to get some information, and neither one of them would budge. They just said the excitement, and what Mel said, she's like, the excitement is just as if we were going to Club 33. I was like, oh my goodness, like. There's
And then,
very few
yeah.
things that have like that level of excitement. Like this
Yeah.
is big.
And
like,
then I think I said, like, Club 33 I could get into. Like, this is something that is, like, a
Yeah.
little more...
and
like-
that's why I was like, oh, this, like, oh, okay, like, all right. And so that's when I was like nervous for both of you because it felt like such an exciting opportunity.
Right.
And so when you finally sent me the message, keep going, and then I'll get to that part. So Sorry,
at
Mel,
this
go ahead.
point, we could go back to now day of, morning of.
Day of, I got there.
Yeah.
So because it was through my Sala account, so the event, he wanted people dressed up, in themed, indie themed, and so because I have the Sala clothes, I wore my Sala costume. Luckily, it mostly fit still. I had to buy a new shirt, and it's fine. I literally Amazon Prime next day like a new shirt because the old one was like a little dirty and wrinkled and a little small, and I'm like, I gotta get this. And so I'm like figuring out. I brought way too many clothes just in case. I was like, one day I'm like, grab all the shirts, grab all the pants. I don't know. So I brought all my stuff. And we were supposed to meet there at 11 is what like the scheduled time was, but people were getting there early and stuff. And I never like, these are a bunch of the group, we got added to a group chat, about the event, and it seems like a big group of people that all, do this sort of thing, hang out together. So I'm both Melissa and I are both kind of just sitting there like, yeah, there's like a poll. I'm like, yes, going. And I'm like, I don't have anything to add. I'm sorry. I don't want to just chime in like, hey, new guy here.
Yeah, we wanted to be as respectful as possible.
Right. So we, Melissa and I park over at Toy Story. By the way, they are repainting the parking lot lines where the electric vehicle chargers were, so they were closed, which was quite annoying because I had borrowed my mother-in-law's electric car to go down there, and I was planning on using that as a charging, so I had less stops to stop on the way home, but I couldn't because it's closed. So that was just annoying, but that has nothing to do with this.
So you weren't carrying like a little portable charger for your phone that you could have plugged into the
car?
car?
Only got me like 1 extra mile.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you have like little battery, big battery.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So we make it over. We get there about 10:30, and there's already a group of folks there. And, we just walk in and people like, well, hey, there's a table. This is over at Tungrow Terrace, side of Trader Sam's. And we just start talking to people. And
Yeah.
there's a, I think by the time we got there, there's probably a good 10, 15 people there already. People are eating, people are chatting, and it was
People
just
at the bar?
At Trader Sam's, you don't say?
Yeah.
I know, right? But it was before
and-
noon, so it was like they were just there. It's
Yeah.
fine.
But that first whole bit was just, just getting to meet, and everybody was so welcoming and chatting up everybody. It was really cool just
Yeah.
getting there and being, just like, hey, you're here, it's great, and introduce yourselves and all that stuff, meeting all the different people that all have the same hat on.
How many people were there again?
I think there were like at the end of the day there was like
I want to say
close to
40?
40 people that were there that were part of the group, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. It's hard to count. It was pretty packed.
I want to
And
say
I imagine there were a lot of indies.
There was
How many like
Yes.
costume variations were there?
So it was I would say of the 40, 35 of them were Raiders of the Lost Ark indie.
Very
then there
popular
was
version.
I'd say 30 of them, and then of the other 10 there was a couple people that were just wearing like regular like an Indiana Jones shirt
Yeah.
or whatever. Melissa had a little bit more going on. There's one lady dressed up like Marion. I
yeah,
think
she
there's
was really
only
cool.
one. And then I was Sala, and then another guy showed up later, and he seemed to be like their group's guy that does Sala all the time. But
Yeah.
my Sala is very ride specific Sala, and he's more general. He has like
Movie.
the Fez, like
Yeah.
Last Crusade Sala.
There's so
and-
many indies to choose from. Trust me. We had an entire March Mayhem
Raiders
dedicated
March
to
Mayhem. We
16
did it.
versions
I picked them
of
all.
Indiana Jones that they could have chosen.
I was talking to somebody there, and it was just like, yeah, they should, have some there's the white suit there, and he was like, oh yeah, there's a couple people that do like the white suit. There's a couple people that have like Professor, Henry
Yeah.
Jones Professor. It's just like, but this meet and greet specifically, I think because of the attraction and stuff that they all were wearing their like Raiders indie garb.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to take this opportunity to on-screen flash the bracket that we created for Raiders March Mayhem.
That was a very indulgent thing we did
That
for
was
me.
fun.
I was like,
it was so fun.
We
When
did
you first
3.
pitched it, I was a little confused, and then you explained it's like it's literally all indie. I was all like, all right, let's do it.
We did 3 March Mayhems that year. That was
Yeah.
too many.
It was pretty crazy. So I'm going to show also now the full bracket of all the indies that ended up winning, so you can see who the winner was. This was back in 2023, April,
Wow.
when we did this one. So it's been a few years now. That was definitely fun. So I'm sorry. Go
That's
ahead.
okay.
Keep going.
It's okay.
I guess it was a lot of talking to folks for a while because we weren't sure. Originally, John Rhys-Davies was supposed to be there, I think, around 11:30, 12:30, something like that.
Yeah.
And was running late. He was flying in from the airport and got picked up, and it's a whole hassle getting to Disneyland. I think he was
We understood.
in the park and stuff. I was like, yeah, we're happy to. I'll wait here till the cows come home.
Yeah.
But in that time, there was a raffle, there was giveaways that Chuck
Yeah,
Ballew was there. He had a big binder of all his artwork, his
did.
concept art that he did for the attraction,
Oh,
Yeah,
that's so
including
cool.
stuff that
clippings.
including stuff that I didn't know that they were considering developing a Temple of the Forbidden Eye comic book. Like,
Yes.
and so he
Oh,
had like the
wow.
first couple, like cover art and the first couple of pages of a comic book that were based on that, which I thought was really cool.
That is awesome.
He
was
has
there-
a lot of drawings that would
Yeah.
make for great tattoos. Like so good.
He
So
had said
different
that
styles and stuff.
he had said at the time he left Imagineering, he had more pieces of art, like more single items listed under his name in the archives than any other Imagineer ever. Like, he had the most pieces of art in the archives.
Wow.
Which
Yeah.
is, I think, great. I don't know if that's still the case, but he said by that when he left, he was. Yeah.
Okay, so
Oh,
this
Melissa's
is
asking
official.
questions.
Oh, I was so excited when I learned who was going to be there. I'm like, I have questions because Chuck was he was behind the main concept art and mostly a lot
Yeah,
of
he
the
did a
art
lot
that
of the
was
concept
inside
art.
the temple. So I asked, hey Chuck, is Mara a woman or a man? And the reason I asked this is because there was like arguments.
Yeah.
There was arguments saying, no, it's this, no, it's this. And I'm like, I gotta ask, because the way that the design of the temple is more darker, it's not
It's like brutal.
polished, it's not
like-
it's I'm like, let me see. I gotta
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah.
And folks, Mara's a guy.
He was like, I don't know where
This
it
is
ever
official.
came up. He was like, I
It's
don't know where that
official.
ever came from. But he did say, like, he's like, flips open his vibrator. He says, well, in like some iterations like this here, like this one was like more like Mara was a woman, but like that was like really old and that never really caught on. And then he flipped
Right.
and this thing here. And I was like, that's awesome. He was so personable to talk to and just had
Yeah.
this stories out the wazoo, could talk to for forever. He was so nice.
Can I just say something about this? Because I remember hearing people argue about this in the past, and the only connection that I ever made was I always assumed that Mara was masculine, primarily because of the voices that you heard on the attraction.
Well,
like
and we
the
knew
way
the
that
voice. Yeah. Go ahead,
right. So I just made that connection and made the assumption that that was the case. But I've always thought that the reason people made the connection that Mara was feminine was because of the art that you see as you're going through the queue
Right.
that makes it look the
Sure.
other way.
There's more
So
like makeup and like different like
Right,
like
so-
stuff.
I always thought that was the differentiation, but I was always more inclined to think that. So I'm glad that there's an official, like,
I
that
had
this
to
is settled
ask.
now.
Well,
No,
and
yeah.
I think a lot of that came also like came back up like 2018, 17, whenever
When they changed the voice?
When they changed the voice for like a minute, I'm like, why
Yeah.
you seek treasure or whatever. It was like
Yeah.
really weird.
Well,
And it was more androgynous of a voice because it was higher pitched, but you didn't really know. Like it was just kind of like a generalized voice as far as I could tell. But
well, fun fact, I
Uh-huh.
met the person behind that voice, and it was a woman.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
I
it
know.
was it was short lived. It was like a less than a year, I think. The voice
Oh, yeah.
was there. People didn't like it.
No.
And they-
Wait, so something changed at Disneyland and people didn't like it? Nah.
yeah, and then they changed.
I
it
don't
back.
believe you.
We're gonna come back to that.
I
That
don't
one-
believe you.
That one was easier to change because, from what I understand, that voice was. They were like, well, it was easier just to re-record it than it was to trying to fit in with the new projections because like the timing
Yeah.
worked out differently and
Yeah.
stuff, but they figured it out. But yeah, Melissa was able to sit. Chuck was there sketching people. He had a
Yeah.
Walt Disney Imagineering just like notepad, like a 5x7 notepad, and he was just sketching people while he was talking to him. And so we were sitting there talking. I was just there wanted to look through the binder. And but he sat there. Melissa was able to get a drawing that was cool. It's on Imagineering paper. I asked him to. I brought. I ended up with a couple blank Indiana Jones fast passes, and I just wanted to sign one. But he drew a little sketch. Let's see. I have it right here. Mine's close.
Aww.
My stuff is already put away.
Oh, okay. I have a little. It's a little sketch of me with
good.
as Sala, because I dressed like
That's
Sala
so cool.
with his autograph on the blank. Woo, don't drop it, Andrew.
Yeah, please don't.
So that was fun, getting to talk to him for a while and just listen. Even just sitting there while other people were asking him questions, getting to tell stories. Like he was really great to talk to. And just seemed happy to be there, which was great too. Just like,
Yeah.
I think just likes Indiana Jones and likes the ride and stuff, and is happy to be part of its history, which is cool.
That's awesome. I think this in general is a really good reminder that we always talk about particular attractions, and there's always one or two people that are really tied to that attraction. And when you think of Indiana Jones, the first person you think of generally is Tony Baxter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And this just with the artwork alone, with the concept art, when you said that he's got like the most stuff in Imagineering, or at the time has like the most archived, when you think of how you're constantly sketching ideas and constantly going, obviously, I don't know if they archive each page or each individual idea as like its own item, so that they can archive.
Page, because he said something like, he's like, I never threw like a single thing away. Like I always turned it all in.
That was smart.
Yeah,
that's so cool. But yeah, this is a good example of Imagineering as a whole. I think we kind of know that there's a lot of people involved. It just doesn't always like click or feel that way, because you talk about Imagineering, but there's always like, well, now especially there's like the face of specific attractions or lands or something that really go out there and talk about it. It's usually the creative director.
That work on these attractions. Let's see. So there was a couple of raffles that went on. Eugene, Lost Delta Outpost is his Instagram account. He had Etsy page. I own plenty of things I've purchased over the years. I'm sure Melissa does too, and a lot of people have a ton of stuff from his page. It's a if you're an Indiana Jones fan, Temple of Forbidden Eye fan, he's got some great stuff. He's also got some other stuff on there too. It's a great page. I highly recommend buying from him.
Mind
it's
you,
wonderful
also,
stuff.
We've been interacting with him for maybe close to a decade.
Yeah,
so it was finally nice to meet him.
Yeah, never met him before.
No.
Nicest guy you could ever ask to meet, Eugene. I'll thank him right now. I'll thank you again.
Absolutely.
But it was just such a like an honor to be invited, and I really appreciate the invite from Eugene, and he really put together something special for like just people that are fans of Indiana Jones, like, and the attraction itself. So that was cool. There was a couple other people that had brought some things, just gave away just for fun. We got a couple little goodie bags from some of the folks. That was really nice. Lots of chatting, and then eventually
I think it was just chatting until we learned, it's 5 more minutes.
Yeah, we get the word he's on the way. John Rhys-Davies is walking here, and we see him. And okay.
Like, where's Waldo? It's like,
yeah,
there's the big crowd.
We're all on Tog Road Terrace. You see him. There's a group of people walking down. There he is, blue suit. There he is. He walks up the thing. Everybody clapping.
Everyone's clapping.
Around.
I'm just like, oh my gosh, he's right there.
He's right there. We all try and get like sort of a group photo. A lot of people didn't get in the group photo because there's not a lot of space there. So, but a photo was
the
taken.
Side of them.
Melissa got pictures of people's butts.
No.
That was great. Their
like,
backs.
I'm right here, even though you can't see me, but I'm right there.
I'm like trying to be on my tippy toes, but even me, I'm like, there's so many people that it's not happening.
Right.
But then at
that's
point,
where you had to like stick your hand up and be like, "Those are my fingers back there."
Right.
Okay, I tried doing that with my arm.
Yeah.
So at least my arm could be seen.
he says a couple of things, and then he gets settled in a back corner, and everybody lines up. And he's going to start, he's there to sign some autographs for everybody before we go over to the park, which is the next part of this. And so we all get in line. Melissa and I are lucky enough to be, the first 10 people or so in line to.
Yeah.
I think we're like the fifth
No,
people
not
in
even.
line.
Maybe
I think
the
we're like
first
fourth
5.
or fifth. Yeah, actually people in line. And so I went up first, and I dressed as all I,
Wait.
he well, go ahead.
Can I explain how he's? We have to explain his
Oh,
voice.
sure. Oh, right.
His voice travels because he was complaining about the table, and the table.
He was like, "Who thought this was a good idea to sign on this table?"
Which is, I get it. 'Cause
It's
it
a
has
bumpy
slats.
table. It was a bad
Yeah.
idea.
But to hear that, like, it just, he could have been he was just, he didn't mean to shout,
could-
but oh my gosh, I was just like,
It's like they
just-
say, like you could
like he just
he could
spoke.
read the phone book, and it would be interesting to
Yeah.
listen to.
Yeah.
Just
So cool.
just saying stuff like that, and just the power behind his voice, and just how
Yeah.
like recognizable it is too. Like nobody else has that voice. And so people are getting stuff signed. He's taking pictures. I get up there. I'm like, I don't have I kind of freeze. I don't have much to say. I'm just like, nice to meet you. Like,
I
but
was expecting you to walk up and be like, my friend, my friend.
I think I did say my friend. That's my one thing, my go-to. But you can tell he does this sort of thing all the time. Like he goes to those conventions and does these meet and greets because he's just like, he's going to town signing stuff. He goes, let me try another this. He goes, so what do you do when you're not being me? Because I dress up like Solid. I tell what I do for work and stuff. He's like, all right, let's get a picture. And he like points. He like tussles my beard a little bit and he does a couple different poses, and we're out of there. And then and I had to give him my phone to somebody that's there taking pictures. Then Melissa was also after me taking pictures.
Yeah, I took video.
A video and pictures. And then so Melissa and I switched spots, and she can now tell her interaction.
So I sit down and I'm just like, there's this feeling of, oh my gosh, like this is the closest all the colorful words want to get out, and I can't say that, but in my head I'm like, oh my gosh, this is happening. Like, okay, so I talk to him, I say hi, and I tell him, you know what, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. And then I have to watch the video again because that's my brain. So he starts signing, and I'm like in my head, because I told my husband, if it's him, I'm gonna have to bring up Star Trek because he's in an episode as Da Vinci on Voyager. And I was like, I have to bring it up. And I brought it up, and he was like giddy, and he told me he had a lot of fun playing that role. And I was like, oh my god.
I could tell because
Okay.
I was there taking pictures too of Melissa. He like perked up.
Yeah.
And like he took and scooted his chair a little closer to her.
Well, because after I was telling him, I usually would have a lot to say, but I can't think of anything. And I was just like,
right.
bleh. And I'm sure he's like, okay, I know how to deal with this. And it was just, it was just playful fun. And to have him make that choice of having it, he didn't have to scoot his chair. He didn't have to do any of that.
Right.
He didn't have to like go and hug me and stuff. And it was just like, oh my gosh, like it's comforting because there's people that won't do that. And to kind of meet like one of the people that you've admired for so long, and this is like a really good interaction, was just like, oh my gosh, I have like fireworks in my nerves. I'm like so excited. Afterwards, I ask him, I'm like, can I shake hands or something. And then that's when he got playful with my hair, and I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm good. Just lay me down. I'm dead. I'm good. I'm good. That's it. Oh, I had him. Duh. What did I have him? What did I bring? I didn't even talk about that. I have a decoder card that was blank on the backside, so I took that with me. I almost took my Vinylmation, and I was like, no, I don't want him to have trouble signing.
It would have been hard to sign, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I can't do that. I can't do that. I don't want to be that person or whatever. So
Right.
Yeah.
I just thought decoder card, it's the attraction. Why not?
Yeah.
But he also signed these prints that Eugene provided for all of us.
Eugene did this
Oh,
art
wow.
and made
Like,
these prints.
yes.
Here's the print. Oh, as I bump the microphone. It's Sala, you know, it's one of the images you see in the pre-show
the video.
video is this.
That's
Him
so
up
cool.
at the top of the at the temple door and stuff. And you can see
Yeah.
it's kind of the light's kind of shining off because it's shiny, but the silver marker on there is his signature there.
So the best
that
part
was
is
another great thing from Eugene that he brought.
right. So during the interaction, I didn't feel stupid, which is fantastic because I could have felt like
Yeah.
that. I could have. And afterwards, I said thank you, and we left. And I was telling Andrew, I need to pull that. I need to pull away. I need to pull away. I need a moment because my hands were shaking. Like I was like, oh my gosh, that happened. Like I kept.
Well, also
saying
you
that. I'm
hadn't like eaten in this whole time either.
Well,
Yeah.
because I didn't want to need to use the restroom if I had
Right,
to.
exactly.
It was a good choice.
No, it was.
Right.
Like my stomach would have been like,
And then
it's like-
here's my. By the way, I pulled mine out there. I got him to sign the photo pass. What do we call this? Fast pass.
Pass.
Oh, fast pass as well.
You're
so-
just as excited
so,
too.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So we finally, so you pulled we found there's a couple chairs, you know, off to the side
Yeah.
a little bit, able to sit down for a little bit. But this is the time where, hey, freaking Waffle House, Melissa's Waffle House, they had sliders, but those were just the people on their knees. Hey, Tungaro Terrace, you get a kids meal. They got sliders, the hamburgers. Melissa and I
Right.
had some
Nice.
sliders.
Or like,
Yeah.
there's your slider.
I sent Heyzen the picture. It was like, hey, here's a picture of Melissa with John Rhys-Davies, and also they
and
have
also
sliders.
sliders. That's awesome. That's so cool.
And so we were able to sit and just kind of eat and, you know, come down from the high.
Yeah.
While everybody else was, you know, in line because we were towards the front. But I mean, he was signing for it was probably an hour and a half or something, at least an hour.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, and then like the way they were set up, where he was set up, there's like a door by a cashier that's just glass. And so, like, some of the cast members were there, and they're like, "Oh my god!" Like, there he is.
I was gonna ask that, like, as a follow-up, that how did it work out with? Because obviously there were other just people eating or drinking there. Like, how did it go with other people trying to approach him or other cast members approaching him? Like, how did they manage all that?
I think it was just
where he was situated.
It was around the corner, kind of in the back
Yeah.
corner. It was like a dead end corner. Was once he finally got there, and I don't think the people that were there just eating when he showed up kind of just didn't catch wind of who it was or anything, because it
Right.
went all pretty quick. And so the cast members there, they kind of they left him alone. I think the Eugene or somebody had talked to the people at Tungaro Terrace and let them know, like, hey, this is what's going on. Like, this person's going to be here. Da 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 da.
Gotcha.
Because they had done this event one time before, I think about a year
Last
ago
year.
or so, last year sometime.
Mhm.
And I remember seeing photos from that, and I was like, oh man, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And they were able to do it again, but so yeah, I don't think they had any. Didn't hear of any problems with anybody.
No.
Coming up or
It was
or
actually peaceful.
getting into the group that weren't
Yeah.
supposed to or anything like that.
Yeah.
So then after all that, there was a raffle. Melissa and I didn't win the raffle.
It's okay.
But
didn't
Even though
you
it was
though?
awesome.
yeah, no, it's
But didn't you?
no. We won the
though?
lottery. We didn't win the raffle. There's a raffle ticket. Like we bought some raffle tickets. And one of the guys that was there, he had modeled and cast in plaster one of the snakes that's like in the inside the ride
cool.
that like is kind of like it's like a corbel
Like over
or
the bridge?
something kind of. Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Yeah, and so that was really cool, but I guess I didn't buy enough tickets, which is okay. I don't have it. It was
alright.
big. It was like 16 inches or something. It was 25
weighed
pounds.
like
It was
20 pounds?
plaster. Yeah.
To be
I'm like,
carrying
I
that
don't know
around
where
the
I was
rest
gonna
of the
put
day,
that. Yeah.
taking it on the attraction and everything.
I got a mistake. So at some point they had finished signing autographs and things, and they're like, okay, head on over. We're gonna go ride the attraction. I was like, great. So we get there, and everything's fine. And he, John he's collecting himself. He's got to, I eat something because I don't think he had anything to eat yet, so he had to eat something.
Probably
and
not.
everybody. So he had to make his way over. So everybody kind of left, got their stuff and put in the locker, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We all get over there. We're waiting. And then we go like, oh, here, John's on his way. Okay, great. And then the ride goes down.
Yeah.
Indy goes 101, breaks down. Like, oh no. And like less than 5 minutes later, John shows up or something, and
It's,
Eugene
like,
was there
so-
like talking to people like,
Oh,
hey, I've been
man.
talking with these people, like we got this person coming.
Yeah.
So they're trying to figure out what to do. John gets there, and what they do is they allow us to go into the queue because they had were filtering people through, and the queue in front of the temple was empty. And so we all John makes his way in there. He gets up on the stairs, the stairs that people don't go on, the decorative stairs, kind of in the middle, right below where this happens. And he gets up there and starts talking and saying stuff. And I recorded it, but I don't remember what he's saying. I was just kind of mesmerized, and he was up there, and it was great taking some everybody's getting their pictures of him.
And then we walk out.
Then we walk out, and we're able
Yeah.
to we get we take a big group photo. This one's everybody can be seen in this one because it's on the stairs. You know the stairs that are in the Indy queue that go up to the Jungle Cruise?
Like the backside of it?
Yeah.
No
So
pun intended.
everybody piles up in those stairs. And in this group photo, I don't have it yet. Hopefully I'll get it at some point. We'll share it somewhere on Discord or whatever. But it's it's literally like, because I somehow got towards the end, it's like John Rhys-Davies is here, and then it's me, and then it's Melissa. It's like we're right there, or like we're right there next to him in the front of the picture. So it was
So cool.
it was great. And then by that time, they're like, okay, we've heard that they're kicking the ride back up. So what's gonna happen is John's gonna go up the exit and wait for you guys there. Everybody else, the big group, go get in line. Once you get to the front, we'll get there. And then the plan was that they were gonna John was gonna ride it a bunch of time, so he could be on it with everybody in the group. I was like, that's very cool. But by the time we got there, because of the ride, how everything was working out, they were only able to let him go on one ride because of it being down and everything. So the least of my worries, I got to meet the man. Like that's,
Right.
It's of all the things to happen, like not a big deal whatsoever. It would have been cool. But Melissa and I did get a ride with Chuck. He was in our Jeep.
That's awesome.
And so that was pretty cool. The least cool thing about it was I lost my hat on the attraction.
Yes.
I was like, all the indie guys are wearing their hats, and theirs are like fitted to their head, and they're having no problem. And I'm there.
Oh no, some of them are holding them.
Oh, are they? I'm in the
Yeah.
driver's seat. I'm driving, dressed up like Solid. I have my hand on my head. hand on the steering wheel, holding it, and we get to the dart room, and I adjust my hand just a little bit, and a gust goes poof, and blows the hat off, and it bonks off the guy behind me and onto the floor. So I put in a lost and found request, so that'll hopefully resolve itself. If not, it was a $20 hat or something. I found I can always get a new hat.
It'll show up.
Maybe it'll show up with a big tire mark on it. I don't know, and then I'll have
I
a story,
hope so.
and then I'll put it in a
That'd
case
be
and be like, my hat was run over inside Indiana Jones.
For real.
But at that point, that was basically the end of the day. I had to Melissa, did I miss anything before I wrap up the any of the stuff?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I want to say that was pretty much it, which was that actually we didn't finish until like right before 5.
It was just before 5
so
o'clock.
that was a long time.
It was a long from 10:30 when we got there to 5.
Yeah.
But I had to, like, they were gonna go like eat and then meet up and then go on Jungle Cruise and do some other stuff. I had to drive back home. So I go get my bag, go have dinner.
We had reservations,
Yeah, we went to have some food, and then I had to drive home. I got hit the road at 6:30. I got home at 3 a.m. Maybe it was closer to 7 when I finally hit the road, but yeah, I got home at 3. Yeah, but that was I think that was the quickest decision trip I've ever made.
Yes.
Like, I am driving down tomorrow night
Yeah.
and going to do this thing.
I don't blame you. I don't.
It
blame
was. It's.
It's one of those things where you
yeah.
just have to.
It was.
Yeah.
I said no because originally because I was just like, this is not something I do, and then I immediately regretted it, and I'm so glad I was able to make it. Yeah, I want to thank Eugene for putting it all together. Go support Lost Delta Outpost if you haven't already. I'm sure a lot of you have. Like, he's got some great stuff on there. And yeah, and thanks to all, if this happens to make it to any of the folks that were at the event, thank you all for
Yes.
well, be so welcoming and kind and
Accepting
and stuff,
us.
because it was, we're some outside folks. They seem like a close-knit crew that is not, they all see each other around at different things, and I'm not in that, community as much, doing these events and things. I don't live down there. That's, I think, where a lot of them are based. But it was great just to talk to everybody and just like share in the, like, we're all a fan of this same thing,
And we could geek out to that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it was awesome, and so glad Melissa and I were both able to go and do it, because I think I felt a lot better having at least one person I knew there to be able to.
I don't know if I would have survived.
Yeah. So I'm glad we both were able to go. It worked out so well. So yeah, that was our little last minute adventure.
That's so cool. I'm so happy that ultimately you decided to go. I can tell you from experience that I've had opportunities like this come up, and there's been at least one where I couldn't make it. I would have potentially been able to make it work, but I didn't try hard enough, and that person is no longer around.
Yeah.
And so I missed out on that opportunity. Like, to this day, I still regret it. So all the times that I had an opportunity to go to, like, meetups like this, or to meet somebody that I like for a fandom or something that I've been passionate about like this, these are the best types of meetups, because like D23 is one thing, but when you're in line at D23, everything is so rushed and so like, get a picture, get an autograph, here, hello, thank you for coming, blah blah blah, it's so rushed. And as I'm listening to you like tell the story of like how he interacted with each of you and how he took his time, and you know, he kind of knew how to maneuver through all of it because he's been to the conventions and everything. Those are the best interactions because you could tell that they care about the fans of that particular fandom, right? Because you're right. Like you mentioned that there's some people that just don't really care, that they're there because they're going to get a quick paycheck or whatever the case is. And you could tell like those interactions are all over social media, right? Like you go to the cons and you see a lot of the bad and then you see a lot of the good, obviously. But this, the fact that indie doesn't get enough love, and this is a conversation that we have on and off the podcast a lot. You know, to know that you got this opportunity, man, I'm so happy for the both of you. This is like, I don't know. I can't express how happy I am that you got a chance to meet him and that you got a chance to do this. So that's so cool.
It was awesome, and I wouldn't. I'm so glad we got to do it, and hopefully, you know, something like this will happen again. I think I've learned my lesson to try and make it work. Don't just say no immediately, because
the worst part is that you said you got an Instagram message, and that to me means that if I ever potentially want to get anything like this in the future, like that means I gotta reinstall Instagram. And I'm just not
on there.
That's where everybody is.
Like,
that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm just like, oh,
That's
Instagram.
something I've
Yeah.
noticed. It's like Instagram crowd is very different than like Threads or anybody else. So
Yeah. Oh,
at
well,
least
thank
it
you
ain't
both.
Facebook.
yeah,
I mean, it is. That's the problem.
it's the same
I
thing.
know,
It's
I
the
know.
same thing.
It is. That's the problem.
So anyway, there's one more thing we're going to talk about.
Right. There is one more thing. I feel like this is it. I feel like I need to take a nap after that, because that was an adventure all on its own. But let's talk about this last thing.
We can make it fast. It's
Yeah,
only one thing.
Because, like we said earlier, Disney made changes in the park, and everybody loved it. The end.
Everybody was happy.
Everybody was
Yeah.
happy. So the change that we are talking about is on Pirates of the Caribbean. There was a couple of videos. As a matter of fact, I have the videos queued up. Why don't we take a quick look at them, because this is how Disney teased it for the opening. I believe today is the first day that they are opening the
we missed
attraction
it by
again after.
one day.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, you can go back.
All right, so here we go. So this is the first video. All right, so that was the first video. Then I'm gonna. There was another video by Imagineering.
We were just quiet. By the way, this is an animated. If you're just listening, I'm sure you've seen this, but it's the skeleton that sits on the treasure. They've now turned to animatronic. I'm sure they'll
Yes.
explain it in this next video.
Yeah.
I want to make sure people listening know what's going on instead of just hearing ooh ah.
Oh right. All right, so let's watch this one.
Animatronic figures are foundational to the Disney brand and how we tell our stories. And we started this effort as, what is that next level of our animatronic figures? So we've come up with this hybridized technology that combines a front projection with a partially mechanically articulated face, which together makes for these incredibly characterful faces. It opens up an entirely new creative toolbox to be able to tell our stories. We can now have characters cry and emote in ways they just haven't been able to before. Our pirate isn't a new character, he's actually the same character. We've seen him for the last 59 years, frozen in this moment of time as a skeleton. But now, using this new technology, we're able to tell his full story, the story that's been there all along, of him picking up the cursed gold and turning into a skeleton and dropping it and turning him back into a human. And it's this technology that's enabled us to tell that full story. Keep an eye out for this brand new magic next time you visit Pirates of the Caribbean at Disneyland.
All right, so let me quickly go back to the other one. I'm gonna let it play. I'll pause it once we get to the effect here. But first, your thoughts on this, because I've had the last, I don't know, half a day to kind of digest this a little bit, and I'll share my thoughts in a moment. But Mel, let's start with you.
People are
How
so
do you
negative.
feel about this? What are you thinking?
I love it. I love it. I mean, things are gonna change. This is not the first attraction that's had a different change in it. Especially like Indy, Peter Pan, Alice,
Pirates of the
Mansion.
Caribbean.
Yeah, them now. But I appreciate the new technology and how they're applying it to the attraction, and they're giving us not a new story, but it's like this person, like this pirate here, has been here for since day one, 59 years ago. Pretty much it's giving like new life, and I could see why people are upset because it's been perfect for 59 years. Yes, that is true. Two things can be true at the same time. But you're adding an extra like element to it. I know there's a lot of people who don't like it. I'm not even gonna listen to that. People have the right to say whatever they want. But I am here for it. Like I think it's cool. I'm biased, man. I got the Jolly Roger in my leg. What are you talking about? I'm not gonna be mad. Oh, I like it.
I'm gonna, I think, reserve my actual opinions until after I see it in person, because I'd like to see it in context. A lot of the things like for social media, like this is never as close as you're ever gonna see it. It's so far away in the thing, because I do think that in the video that we see here, there is some things that like I think don't look great, but I also don't think that that is the environment in which this is meant to be seen. So that's why I'm waiting to like because like the projection like looks a little washed out, like they're like the blacks don't look as black, like that's kind of stuff that you get with doing projections. And I can also understand like to me this feels like this would have been cool 8 years ago, like with the face projection stuff like that. They were really doing a lot of that. This is the next iteration of that, than the like the old Seven Dwarves or whatever from Disney World, where they're just kind of like, or like Buzz Lightyear, where it's like just the weird plastic bubble that they're projected on, or like Hatbox Ghost is the next evolution of that. And then this is a front projection instead of a rear projection or an internal projection. And I do think it looks amazing. Like, I think that the technology itself and the, how they're implementing it is good. I do have a fondness for just the eerie vibes, of just having a skeleton there. But again, I don't, I want to take it all into context, because, the music that's playing there, like, are we here? Has that been like turned down, or is that still playing? Like, do we hear this guy going really loud? Like, or is it just quiet in the background? I think all of it, as a whole, will be a better way to judge this than by a really zoomed in close up video, that you're never going to see it like that. But, the one thing I will say is, in this specific context, I don't know how distracting a projected face can be, because a projected face does have like a glow to it than like an animatronic face. No matter what you do, you're shining a big light on a thing and it's bouncing off another thing. So it's never going to look the same as like if you had a animatronic face or whatever. And I'm so pro like full figure animatronic that I would love like I'm kind of like betwixt. I'm split between two things here because, hey, I love when you can add another robot to an attraction. That's great. But then there's the history and there's the this and then but there's the Disneyland will never be complete. Plussing up, like, it's a complicated feeling to have, but I don't want to like I did with the Bride, where I thought the Bride looked really cool. The new Bride at Haunted Mansion, I saw it and I didn't like it. Like, I thought the video looked cool and I was like, oh, I think this is what they're doing. And then when I saw it, I thought it looked flat. So I really do want to wait and see this in person to like fully judge it. But I'm really on the fence about it right now. But the technology itself is really impressive, and I really think it's cool.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to echo a lot of what you just said. I agree with you on the fact that, actually, let me backtrack a little bit. It's interesting that they went back to this technology, first of all, because this is something that we've seen in the past, obviously. One of the biggest changes was to the Frozen characters, where Anna and Elsa had like really bad projections on them, and they went back and they kind of changed the animatronics, and now we have much better versions of that. Like you said, this is kind of like the iteration of it. And I don't know if we talked about it specifically on the podcast in an Armchair Imagineering episode, or if we talked about this off podcast, but the way that they're doing this, I feel like I talked about doing it this way for a better type of projection at some point. But that's conversation for another day. Now, as far as this is concerned, I agree with you that because it's a projection, there tends to be a little bit of a glow that can take you out of the element of what's particularly happening. That doesn't worry me as much, because I think part of this is also experimenting to see how they can get away with different technologies that they can implement on other things. Like, who knows? Maybe this is just a test that's going to be there for a year, and then they're going to remove it, and they're going to apply everything that they learned to something else. Maybe this is a permanent part of the attraction. We don't know, right? But I'm working off of the assumption that this is a permanent part of the attraction now, that this is now going to be something going forward. The only thing that I may have a bit of an issue with is the fact that I feel it breaks the story flow. Because when you're in the that grotto area, like, you're seeing like all of the skeletons, and like you're seeing the remnants of these pirates that were potentially trying to steal this treasure. They didn't get away with it because of the curse, and now they're sitting there forever. Before, at one point when Pirates of the Caribbean, when the films were really popular, we had The Mist that had Davy Jones and Blackbeard and stuff like that, and that served as the transition area from like, this is what happened, let's now show you how we got here, right? And so now you see all the live action stuff as to what ended up happening. You see the entire story until you get to the fire scene at the end, and then it's kind of backwards basically. This adding the animated element and kind of putting the pirate, like showing the pirate how greedy he is, picks up the coin, turns into the skull, drops it, becomes human again, picks it up, the curse takes over again. It's in an infinite loop, right? It's breaking the flow of the next illusion, that where you see the split pirate, where it's going from like skull to pirate in that same kind of corridor. That's really the only thing that it still works. Right? I think it's more me just being used to not seeing an effect on there. I know that if once I get to see this at some point, I will get used to it and I will enjoy it and all that stuff. It's also more of the mentality of, I think we're comfortable as fans sometimes with what exists, and we find solace in what we've known to be for so long. So I think that's why Disney fans especially have a really hard time when things change.
Especially ones that go a lot.
Exactly. And Pirates is Pirates is kind of like a comfort food for a
Sure.
lot of people,
Yeah.
right? It's one of those attractions that when it's a hot day, you kind of just hang out inside of Pirates. You have this like 20-minute attraction where you're just cooling off. Sometimes you just want to hear the music. Sometimes you just need to smell the bromine. Sometimes you just have to get the ambiance of, you know, the Blue Bayou, whatever the case is. Like, it is just like Mansion, just like, you know, for you guys, Indy. It's a comfort attraction for a lot of people. So these changes, I remember when Johnny Depp was added, people were not happy about that, right? Especially where they added him and stuff like that. Eventually, people just grew to accept it, and they understood that it was just part of the story. And then, you know, it is what it is. In this case, I think the same thing is going to happen. I think that you hit on a really important aspect of this, Andrew, that when we see these videos, especially these up close ones from Imagineering, they are purposely lit in such a way so that you can see all of the details, so that you can see the animatronics, so that you can see some of the technology that's going into it. From far away, there's going to be a gradual drop off of light. This is not what it's going to fully look like on the attraction. At least that's what I'm hoping.
Well, on the video camera, you can change the aperture, and you can.
That was the other thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's a lot of people that are going to go vlog this, and I know that the first thing people are going to say is like, "Oh, you see, it's way too bright." You have to remember that a lot of cameras, a lot of cell phones will try to overcompensate for the fact that it is dark, and it'll try to meter off of that particular thing. And so it's either going to blow out the face, it's going to be too bright where you can't see the detail. There's going to be all sorts of really horrible videos that come out of this. So I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to go see this in person, but just like Andrew said, I would say do your best to reserve judgment until you see it in person. And that is one thing that I will admit, I felt trapped to that with the Walt animatronic, right? Because when you look at it up close, 100% to me looks like Walter Matthau. And like, there's people that are like, no, it looks great from far away. It looks like Walt Disney, like his manner. That's great, but I'm not looking at it from far away. And that's the problem, that people are seeing these videos super up close, and you can see the flaws. You can see how it's lit. You can see how it's kind of like a magic trick, right? Like when you know how the trick is done, it doesn't feel as great, you know? So, give it a chance is all I'm going to say. I think from a technological standpoint, I like it. I'm not in general, I'm not a fan of the projection technology for this particular thing. I think the projections can be used for other stuff, for other elements that require that don't rely so much on it actually working 100% of the time, because what happens when the projector goes down? What are we going to see in place of that
Blue screen
face?
of death on the
I
face.
was gonna bring
Right?
that up. I hope
You know,
it's just a skeleton.
I hope so too. And
what I'm thinking.
I hope they have a backup plan, and I hope they've thought that through, because more
Well,
than likely.
Did
Go
you
ahead, sorry.
watch the full video?
The
There's
one
a
on YouTube?
Yeah, the YouTube video.
I didn't finish it. It was a short
Okay.
video, but I tried to watch it like 3 times and I kept getting distracted.
So they do say that they have 2 projectors on it, and only one of them is used. They're both backups for each other. So there are 2 projectors that are redundant. So if one goes out, the other can take over immediately, I think, basically. So they do have a redundant system, at
Okay.
least in that video.
Sounds like they thought ahead.
So at least they did think of that. So hopefully there is less chance. But you never know when a computer's going to go down. Like hopefully they're on
absolutely,
separate
yeah.
computers. But this is supposedly using Unreal Engine.
Yeah, that was the other interesting thing, that this came as part of their Fortnite, like the Epic partnership that they
Right.
have. And, you know, Unreal Engine is one of the animation tools that a lot of video games are currently using
Well, that's
to
what
really get
Millennium Falcon, right?
that right. it takes a lot of processing power, but the image and the quality that you're getting out of this looks absolutely fantastic. And you can see that in the projection, right? That there is a lot more detail. And that's why I'm saying that for this one, it is a little bit different as far as like technology wise. It's a little bit different than like the Elsa animatronic, right? Because Elsa was translated from a cartoon, like from a 3D model, whereas they're really trying to go for the realism of the person. And when you compare the realism of how this animatronic like face is structured along with the projection, and you compare it to the old projections of the bride and stuff like that, it doesn't look flat anymore. It does have a lot more structure, and it looks infinitely better.
Yeah, I do believe the face I do like a lot in that it feels like it is in the world of this attraction. It feels like an animatronic's face. It doesn't feel like, other than the eyes, which are a little big and animated, like it doesn't feel like, I always complain about the new Red, doesn't feel like the sculpt matches anything that we're in the universe. And this at least feels like it matches the weird wrinkly guys that are throughout the attraction. So I do commend them on that. And then, if I saw a bunch of people comments, that's not how the Pieces of 8 and Pirates of the Caribbean work. And I'm like, this isn't that. This is a different thing. And the attraction can have has a different storyline than the movies. And even each of the Pirates of the Caribbean attractions have their own storyline.
And I'm so glad that you brought that up, because in context, there is, at least as far as I know, there isn't an official storyline for the attraction.
No, it's like Haunted Mansion. Like
the attraction is open to interpretation based on the scenes that you are being presented.
Sure.
If at one point they said like, well, this was the pirate, this, and this is how it happened, that's different.
Like they didn't write the book, like the definitive story of the Pirates of the Caribbean 1967.
Exactly. A lot of these, you have to remember, also came from a lot of general concept art and gags that, Mark Davis was like, oh, this would be really funny if we had this and this going on.
Of
you know
just
what
little
I mean?
scenes that were funny.
Yeah. So the argument of this is not part of the story is one that I had a little bit of trouble consolidating earlier, because, like I said, to me, in my head, the story that I formed is that in the grotto, it's all like, this is what happened because of these greedy pirates. And then you go through that tunnel, and that's the story of how we got to that. And so this kind of breaks that for me. Again, not that I can't get used to it, depending on how it's executed, because you're right. Like, if it's too loud, or if it's too flashy, or if it's too distracting, it is going to take away from it. But when you think of how the Hatbox Ghost was implemented, like the Hatbox Ghost isn't loud or anything. Like, you hear his laugh, but you hear it just enough to know that he's a part of the attraction, but it doesn't take away from the rest of the attraction, right? It blends in really well. So for this, that's kind of what I hope it looks like as you're going through it. I do have the Imagineering video that you were just talking about up. It's like 4 minutes long. We could take a quick look at it, and then we'll wrap up, just so that they can tell us a little bit more about the tech that was happening here. But here, let's play this video.
2, 3.
Sound effects for the attraction.
We're at Disneyland in the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction, where we're debuting our new audio animatronic technology. A technology that combines projection with a partially articulated mechanical face to make our figures come alive. Our pirate isn't a
That's
new
what you'll
character.
see when
He's actually
That's
the
what
same
you'll see,
goes
processing.
out.
We've seen him these past 59 years, frozen in a moment in time as a skeleton. But now, with this new technology, we're able to tell his full story, the story that's always been there. To see how we got here, let's rewind a bit to the animation building at Walt Disney Imagineering, where story and technology came together to help bring our pirate to life.
In this
Squishy
project, we are
eyes.
working with one of
Fredo.
our beloved attractions. It's called Scene 11, which is the pirate on
See?
top of the
There's no
gold
story. It's
in
called
the
Scene
caverns
11.
Where you
It's
see
called
the
Scene
treasure.
11.
What we wanted to do is take the character that was there and have him come alive, and to be able to tell the story of who he was before he became a skeleton frozen in time. He's a greedy pirate. He's sitting on top of the gold, opening up all these gold treasure boxes, and he finds one that has a gold coin, and that gold coin is cursed. So when he lifts and picks it up and looks at it, it casts a spell over him that freezes him in time. And then his own weight of his arm, after he turns to the skeleton, drops the coin, releasing him from the cursed treasure. But then his greediness looks at it again and says, oh, it's gold. I'm gonna pick up that coin again. And then he becomes a skeleton again. And so for eternity, he's stuck in this loop. He has 3 moods: he, ooh, ah. And those 3 distinct ones really define who he is and why he's up there. We're using projection and robotics, animatronics, together to bring this character to life by adding all the micro animation. Imagine if we apply this to any of our other characters within our park. It allows us to make our characters
Look at that whole
reactive
big
and
team. There's
responsive
like
to our
45
guests. And
people
that
there.
opens up a whole
That's-
new level of engagement with our beloved guests.
So this project is our new hybrid front projection technology. Really, this technology is an extension of our traditional animatronics. We're adding new capabilities and new features on top of it. We basically start with our figure control. The animatronics animation system is controlling what the figure is doing, but at the same time, is feeding all that data in real time back into Unreal. This is from our ongoing partnership with Epic Games. So you can see here, this is the image and the media that we're projecting. Its movement and any animation that happens on this is driven in real time by the figure animation system. Here, for the first time, we're doing projection mapping onto moving figures and moving objects. So we actually created a completely new technique that we have patented, have the image line up precisely
This
every
is,
time.
I think,
so
the
we're gonna
coolest
go
part
ahead
of the
and take
video
a
is
closer
talking
look
about
at how this works. So
how this
normally in a
tracking
calibration
works.
system, the cameras that we have set up in the scene wants to see targets
It shows
that look
like a
like
bunch
this.
of
It tells
big
our
black and
system
white
where a certain
targets.
object is. But for this figure, we came up with a new technique because he has so much costuming. We want to come up with a way that is easy for this system to work with just one button. Then I had the idea of, let's just put the markers right into his bandana. This figure is very unique. We actually build the markers that are used for calibration right into the bandana
That's super
part of his
smart.
costuming.
It's
That
our
is what
UV
the cameras will
blacklight.
see at nighttime when we run calibration. These markers are activated by UV light. So during nighttime, they turn on and then these markers will glow yellow. Daytime, UV lights will not be on and our guests will never see them. For this particular
That's
scene,
awesome.
we decided to go with 2 projectors. Only one of them is being used at any given time. They are backups for each other. On our figure here, this is actually the image that we're projecting. Here, I will slowly bring it in just to prove that this is just projection. That's the image that goes on his face, and that's what makes it work.
This is the coolest
I'm just gonna
part
gently
here.
move him, and the image is following him perfectly.
moving
So we
it.
always know where the figure is.
And the
and
shadows
that's how we
change
ensure
on it
that our
and
image
everything.
stays locked and perfect on the figure at all times, regardless of what the figure might be doing. If there's something's going wrong, one of the motors aren't working, we can still track and keep our image aligned at all times. Now that you know a little bit about how he works,
Keep an eye out for this new magic the next time you're at Pirates of the Caribbean at Disneyland.
So the thing that I love the most about this is how they describe the motion tracking, because the reason that the way that they've connected it to Unreal Engine is basically how video games work, right? It's kind of live motion tracking is what's
Right.
happening. That's the best way to describe it. But see, even this photo, I wanted to make sure that I came back to this one because this one has very specific lighting, either because they're calibrating it or because, you know, something is happening. In this one, it's a little bit darker than some of the other images and some of the other videos that we've seen. So you see a little bit more of the black in this one, the way that it's meant to be. I do think that when you see this from a distance, it's not going to look as bad as some people are making it out to be. At least
Right.
that's what I'm hoping. But it sounds like, because of the way that it's tracking, that Unreal Engine might also be adjusting for all of that live, right? Which is
Yeah.
something that the other projectors have never been able to do. Like,
Right.
it's live calibrating, live changing the structure, the highlights, all that stuff. If that's how it's also functioning, that's awesome, because
Right.
it's always going to look super cool. Like, it's not going to look overblown or anything like that if lighting changes, which we've seen attractions where the lighting changes because they're cleaning something up, or because something went down, or because, for many different reasons. So,
Well, he said also, like, if a motor goes out, like, in the animatronic, like, so if the head's stuck like this the whole time, it will just, it's not pre-programmed like the Lightning McQueen mouth, like, that, how that'll get out of sync all the time, where the mouth is out of sync with the face, this, like, if it's just stuck here the whole time or whatever, the face will track what's going on, so that,
which is so cool.
the
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very cool technology. I'm excited to see it in person, to see what it looks like.
Yeah. All right. Well, we would love to hear how you feel about this. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Like,
Have you
where do you
seen
stand
it?
on it? Have you seen it? Like, where do you stand on this? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Join the conversation in the comment section of the YouTube video. You can also join us over on Discord. Let us know your thoughts on the attraction. I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to see this, but I'm excited to see it in person one day. And I don't even know where to start. There's so much that I'm excited about, but I want to make sure that I reserve the rest of my thoughts until I actually see it in person at some point. So,
100%.
Anything else? Oh, show us your shirt, Andrew.
I had to wear a Temple of Forbidden Eye shirt. This is another Sewer Collectibles shirt. I wear these all the time, but I just have it. I had to wear an indie shirt because I knew I was telling the story today. So there it is. That's the shirt.
Right on. Well, again, big thanks to Lost Delta Outpost over on Instagram. Make sure that you go follow them and check out all the cool stuff that they have available, because you never know when something like this cool opportunity may come up for you to be a part of it. So make sure that you're following and show your support. I'm glad that you both had an opportunity.
I don't think we have posted yet any pictures. I haven't yet. But
Well,
we'll put some on
at some
Discord or
point there will
something
be.
at least.
Yeah.
And
you'll see something.
So, right on. All right, that's it. That's going to wrap it up. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep moving forward, and always remember to pass on the magic. Have a fantastic week, everyone.
Bye.
See ya.